basketball fans? Welcome to Fantasy Basketball Analyzer. It's me, DC, here to get you ready for Week 8 of the NBA and Fantasy Basketball season, help you set your lineups. We're going to start by breaking down the schedule and where you can get some edges there, and then we'll talk about waiver wire pickups in the second half. So if you aren't interested in my strategy and numbers, you can go ahead and just jump to the list of names. That'll be a little bit later, but I appreciate you to stay around. First time here, hit subscribe, hit the like, all that stuff. Let's get into it. Talking fast in the first half, but let's slow it down a little bit. We are talking about pace and defensive efficiency. Pace, I'm using PER to determine how many chances everyone's getting, because that's going to affect your opportunities to rack up some stats. And defensive efficiency, I'm pulling the numbers from Cleaning the Glass, where they cut out garbage time, because I find that number a little more reliable. We put them together. Here's the best matchups we want to go after up top in the green. Makes sense. San Antonio, Detroit, Houston, New York, Indiana, Utah. Golden State's worked their way out of there. They were up there for a little while. Down at the bottom, the tough matchups. Again, makes sense. Cleveland, Milwaukee, Philly, Dallas, Clippers. New Orleans is down there, which is impressive. Toronto, Miami, Phoenix kind of round it out. Brooklyn's actually a little lower than I expect too. They'll probably edge out. So little shifts here or there. New Orleans being down there, I'm kind of impressed with, but we're going to take these numbers and apply them to the Week 8 schedule. As we look at Week 8, the things that should jump out at you, say it every week. Portland and San Antonio only have 2 games. If they have 2 games, especially in your weekly lock leagues, totally unusable. But think about it for pickups and stuff like that. It could be a little trouble if you're picking someone up and they only have a couple of games. You're going to have a lot of nights off. That said, when we talk about streaming, they do have good weeks the way the games fall, so that's interesting, but still only 2 games. Otherwise, a lot of teams have 3 games. Some have 4 games, so you can get a little more of an edge with 4 games because it's less than half. So if you pick someone up and can play them, especially in weekly lock leagues, that's really going to matter. Look out next week. Philly only has 2 games, so that's your heads up now ahead of time. At the end of the week, they play Charlotte. Might seem good to pick them up, and if you need some stats at the end of the week, go for it. But know that you're probably going to have to cut whatever that move is. It's not going to carry over and have the impact of next week. Say, if you pick up Charlotte, Chicago, someone else who's playing Sunday and at least has 3 games the next week. I think Atlanta's in that group too. That could matter more than picking up Philly at the end of the next week. But that's future use problem. You got to win this week, and if it makes a difference, go ahead and just scoop it up. Let's go look at the back-to-backs. So a little smattering of back-to-backs all across the week here. Most of them are on Friday, Saturday, as we're used to seeing. But you've got like Dallas and Miami have a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back. So if you're looking to make a pickup to get an extra punch, especially both of these teams, they have good schedules. I'm wearing the Miami gear because we're going to talk about them when we talk about streaming, right? Dallas actually has an interesting week because it's a double back-to-back. Luckily, Dallas doesn't rest Luka and stuff like that on back-to-back, so there's not an obvious concern there. In fact, a lot of our concerned teams don't have back-to-backs this week. Philly, no back-to-back. New Orleans, no back-to-back. Warriors, no back-to-back. The Bulls do. So keep an eye on Levine. It's towards the end of the week. It's not a guarantee they're going to rest the Clippers. Yeah, they've got a back-to-back, and they could rest anyone at any given time. So be aware. It's a little hard to predict for that. And then Miami's kind of like the Clippers, where their health reports always scattershot, and they also have a back-to-back. On the upside, their back-to-backs at Memphis to start the week on Monday, and then Detroit. So you may get a sense of someone's playing on Monday, so you're probably going to miss them on Tuesday or something like that. But Miami's health reports kind of like if you play fantasy football over the last decade or two, like the Patriots have been in the past, where you kind of don't know who you're going to get any week. So it's a little hard to give you advice other than you just got to stay on top of it. Don't consider it reliable that say when Jimmy's healthy even, that he's always going to play. And it's worth noting Butler is back and playing now, but that's also why I think he might rest. My guess would be the Detroit one, just because Detroit's less of a competition than Memphis, but at least Detroit's a home game, so you never know. You just got to kind of track that stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about streaming. So it's a good week for streaming. There's only 2 high volume days that we totally need to avoid when we're thinking about our free agency pickups. So down at the bottom, you can see it. Miami 8, Tuesday 3, Wednesday 11, Thursday 3, Friday 10, Saturday 8, Sunday 7. So we can start the week 2 days back, Monday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Sunday. Both have good opportunities for us to pick up someone and play them both. There's not a ton of back-to-backs that we can make an advantage, that we can take advantage of for the Saturday, Sunday. It's only Chicago, unless I'm reading it wrong, in which case correct me down in the comments. There are a couple teams, like I said, for Dallas and Miami right there at the start of the week of the Monday, Tuesday. You can make a pickup that's interesting. The big deal though is that Tuesday there's only 3 games and Thursdays there's only 3 games. So you want to target those days and pick someone up. Only 6 teams to go from. So Denver, I think, has a really good week. They've got 3 games, all kind of towards the center of the week, and they're all on the good streaming days, right? They play Dallas, Portland, Utah. You kind of like those matchups, and they're all closer together. If you have someone else for Monday, scoop up someone from Dallas, rock them for 3 days, and switch for Sunday. I think that could work out pretty well. Miami also probably has the better schedule. They've got 4 games, all 4 on good streaming days, and they're specifically both playing Tuesday, Thursday. Now, like I said in the last panel, it's hard to predict what Miami's health for anyone's going to be, so it makes it a little harder to make it clear to pick up. But if you're looking and someone's widely available in your league, say Aaron Gordon's like 79% rostered. He's picked up on most leagues, but if you're in a shallow league, you don't have to scrape as far for the waiver wire. You can pick someone up, plug him in for Denver, and just feel happy that you're going to be able to play him for sure in those days. Because if you're in a shallower league, then you're going to need those numbers because shallower leagues will play a little more star ball. So you really need to get guys that are going to put up some numbers for you. And a starter playing power forward is going to get you a lot of numbers if he plays on the low volume days. To a lesser extent, I would look at the Clippers. They've got a 4-game week, but 3 are on the low volume days. Start off pretty strong, and you can pivot on Sunday when they're not playing. Houston's got 3 games this week, but they're all on the high volume days, but they're really spread out. So if you pick up someone up for Houston saying, oh, they've got 3 good games, you're going to hold them for the whole week, and you're going to miss out on those not Thursday. You're going to miss out on the Tuesday game that I said is really valuable. So I don't love them as much. I almost would rather look at Portland and San Antonio, like I said, that only have 2 games, so I'd avoid them for a full week long. But that they play Thursday, Saturday on lower volume days with 3 and 8 games. If you pick someone up there, they can probably play on your roster both those days and actually maybe help you more than some of the teams that have 4 games. Say Atlanta's got 4 games all spread out. It depends on what you're going. If you've got enough moves to do it, that might help you a little more. Let's get into the waiver wire. I want to touch on a couple names we talked about in prior weeks that might be worth picking up even though they've got a higher ownership level already. We talked about Trey Murphy before. He's got 66% rostered. Man, he gets a lot of points. He gets you a lot of threes. I like him in points league. I like him in 3-point league. 66% rostered. He's not out there for most people. And New Orleans doesn't have a great schedule for this week. But if you're targeting specific things, I think we know what we get from him, and we were talking in the past. Marvin Bagley's playing well. It's not theoretical anymore of just, here's a big getting some minutes for the Pistons. Statistically, he's playing real well for you. You can go pick him up. He's rostered in plenty of leagues, but you haven't missed out on him yet. He's 65%. You can still get him in about a third of leagues. I would mention Killian Hayes as well. We've talked about on the Pistons before. Give him a look. Again, it's not for the schedule for this week, but worth taking a look. We got a couple guys returning from injury or out of the league. Note Kemba Walker's back with Dallas, back in the league. I don't expect too much from him, right? I think he might be able to help the team some. I don't think it's the best move any. I don't think he's going to help your fantasy team too much. That said, he just scored 44 points last season. If we go back to December, I think 23rd, he scored 44 points. It's not like the tank is empty. I just don't expect to be consistent enough. If you want to give him a look, he's like 14% rostered right now. People are jumping on it. I wouldn't do it, but it's worth mentioning. TJ Warren coming back also is just starting to return for the first time since like last year. I don't think I'm jumping on it, but I just kind of want to hit these news and notes so that if you're making a move or curious why you're seeing pickup, it's just because they're just getting back in the league. Karis LeVert just came back from injury for Cleveland. I think he's a fine pickup here or there. I don't think he's a season-long hold. And the day you look at it could feel differently. November 30th, he had 22, 6, and 4 with 3 3-pointers. That's exciting. The next day, 5, 1, and 4 with 2 steals. I think that's a spot I would rather be streaming. Now, if you want to stream LeVert, I think that's fine, but I don't think he's a season-long hold, and I feel like some people treat him that way. Not everyone. He's only 43% rostered, so you can go get him in most leagues, which I think is good. I don't think he should be owned in over half of leagues. More interesting return from injury is Markelle Fultz. He just came back. It's been a little inconsistent, but this could be a season-long ad. His box score so far, 8, 4, and 2, 10, 6, and 6, 7, 1, and 4. Those aren't getting us overexcited, right? But December 2nd, he played 30 minutes. That's interesting. December 3rd, he played 19 minutes. That's what you expect from return from injury, but it's a second game of a back-to-back. So is there a little bit of a time limit? Maybe, but he played 30 minutes and he's playing on back-to-backs already. Those are good signs, so you might want to pick him up. 45% rostered, while the numbers aren't popping, this is going to go up. He's going to get 67% ownership level, and he's not going to be available. So if it does go off, if you're looking for a point guard, I would look at Fultz. In the short term, maybe you go Reggie Jackson instead, though. The Clippers have a good schedule this week. We talked about it. He's inconsistent for sure. He's 46% rostered. His last game was 6 and 1. Before that, though, 15, 1, and 3. Got you 2 steals. Before that, 24, 7, and 12. You love it when you see that 24, 7, and 12, obviously, and he's capable of doing it. He played 41 minutes that night against Portland. But most nights he's going to play mid-20s, and he's going to get you 5, 4, and 4, 9, 5, and 8. That's not bad. I'll take 9, 5, and 8 off the waiver wire, and the Clippers have a good schedule. So I think he's worth a look, and I think he could help you this week. But I think he's also in that streaming spot. You pick him up for this week and maybe use him for all 4 games and feel pretty good about it. And then you go somewhere else in the future. Don't get locked into that. Kyle Anderson made the maybe list. I talked about it before when Gobert went out, and Kyle Anderson, he kind of let me down a little. Cat's going to be out for a few weeks. Kyle Anderson's going to get a little more time. But he had 6, 6, and 5 last game, 10, 6, and 5 before. I think we know what we're going to get. I mean, the 2 steals and 4 blocks is exciting, and he's 33% rostered. So if you want to grab him and hope that he does more for the Timberwolves, see what Slow-Mo does. I don't think that's bad, and he's available in most leagues, so he makes this list for sure. But he's not as exciting as, say, AJ Griffin. AJ Griffin's been getting opportunity because the Hawks have a lot of injuries right now. I like him more in points leagues because he's not filling out the box score a ton, but 24-3-1 with 3 steals, a couple 3-pointers, 15-1-1 and a steal, 3 3-pointers. You know, you can see the difference, but they're giving him more trust. I think he's a rookie, right? So he's going to get to play more, hopefully, as the season goes on. But Atlanta's dealing with some injuries. They've got an okay schedule, 4 games, 2 on good streaming days, but they're on either end of it. I might, if he's still out there come Sunday, they're one of the rare teams that have the game Sunday, I might scoop him up, play him there, and see what happens for next week. If you're looking for threes or point leagues, Malik Monk, we've talked about him in the past. He only has 3 games this week. Only one's a good streaming day, but you know what you're getting. You're getting threes and you're getting points for the Kings. He's playing well. He's oftentimes maybe not their leading scorer. He's one of their top 3 scorers in most games where he plays. He's not always getting 20 points, but it's not shocking to see it either. And sometimes that's going to be worth 5 3-pointers. So points leagues, or if you're specifically trying to compete in threes, I think that's worth a look. But I'm actually a little surprised no one's talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. I think maybe it's because he started the season pretty poorly and people got disappointed. But look at what he's been doing over the last week. 8 3-pointers, 28, 7, and 1. 6 3-pointers, 26, 5. 5 3-pointers, 22, and 4. Is he going to keep shooting like this? No, I don't expect him to hit threes like this. And if he doesn't, the points aren't going to come. But his rebounds have been solid. So I like him in points league or category league. And Dallas has an interesting schedule. I mentioned they've got 2 sets of back-to-backs. 3 of them, though, are on low-volume days. And they start it with back-to-back Monday, Tuesday quality games. I like Tim Hardaway as a pickup. He's 42% roster. You can get him in almost 60% of leagues. I'd pick him up, see what he does for you on Monday, Tuesday. Get your week off to a good start. And if he's a flop, it's fine because it's Monday, Tuesday. You can pivot to somewhere else and push for the end of the week. Even those teams with only 2 games that probably aren't going to be picked up a lot now as people are prepping for the week, add those 2 guys. There's no overlap. You've created a 4-game week for those 2 guys. Add guys from those 2 teams. You've created a 4-game week of all quality games, and it can help you get the edge in week 8. Thank you for watching. Questions and comments down below. Hit me up on Twitter if you want. If I'm not getting back to you, in the comments on YouTube. Hope you did well in week 7. I want you to go out there and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you.